Beast y'all, what's up? It's almost the 22nd of June. It's up, or post Mid-Ohio here. It's going to be Wednesday tomorrow. It's a little after 11 p.m. So we're only another hour of the 21st, and then on to the 22nd we go. Just wanted to bring you a little clip here. I didn't bring you the vintage zip cart that we picked up at the track. I didn't bring a camera to the track with me, and I brought the camera with me to the storage unit after I got back, but I forgot to take the video because I actually went by myself, and I was kind of nervous about just getting everything in there and getting it all put away. But I did take pictures, so I'll show you in the pictures what we picked up. This vintage, let's start here. Vintage zip cart. We're not sure exactly what it is yet. We did find a couple numbers on it. It's a sprint type cart, right? It's a shifter cart. We found some numbers on the inside of the bearing hanger between the rotor and the bearing hanger on that side over there. You zoom right in. It's nice. I use Richard's camera, so you can zoom right in and everything pretty much stays in focus. This big old piece here is some kind of mount that they use. They cobbled that up, put that on to mount the radiator because it came with an engine as well. The thing's it's in pretty rough shape, but we want to find out how much of this. I posted the pictures on the British Historic Karting website, or the group page on Facebook, to see if somebody can point out to me, one, by the number that's on it and what they're looking at, what year, make, model, all that kind of stuff it is. We know what make it is. We know it's a Zip. Made in England, obviously. We know this is not stock standard. This is a 5/8 American steering shaft. They had everything. Everything was metric on the British stuff. This looks like this seat mount or something looks like it's been welded on. The original seat mounts in the front, they cut them off, bolted a plate to it, and put a fuel pump on it. As you can see here, the light is really bad. These they're rectangle tubes. And on the end they were a little bit longer, and then there was a piece of round tubing welded to them, and then a U-shaped deal would bolt to the seat, and the edges, the sides of the U would come down and bolt through those pieces there. I've worked on enough of these zip carts. There it is. There's a much better picture. They cut these off. They were a lot longer, and then they had a piece of tubing, small, about the outside diameter would be about the width of this rectangle tube, and about yay long, and they welded on the end of the tube. And then they bolted a squared U-shaped piece to the bottom side of the seat. So the bottom, or the base of the U, would bolt up to the bottom of the seat. And then the two legs of the U would come either side of this piece of round tubing, and they would through bolt the seat on. It didn't come with these holes bored in it. Somebody got a hold of this thing and started tearing it up. There's the number. You can see I get a better picture of it. Here it is. I took the bolt out. 468 is the only identification I could find on the whole thing there. Ben made these. Ben Hur, by the way. Thanks, Ben. Ben brought the cart across the country from Arizona back to Columbus, where his mother's from, where he grew up. He brought it with him because he needed room in his shop, and he knows I'm into tinkering and fixing and cleaning these things up and polishing the turd, so to speak. So he made these. He kind of explained to me, I know what these look like, where they would go. You'd have to make a clampable collet or whatever to hold these on, so you can adjust the track width and stuff, and camber and all that stuff with these things here. But that's just a Track Magic paddle shifter. So we'll go back the other way. You can see here, this cart is pretty wild. I didn't really notice it till I looked at the pictures. It's really pretty square, the whole back of it, right? It's got to be either a late 70s or an early 80s go-kart, I'm guessing. Ben said he thought it was a Zip GP. I thought the GP karts were the ones with the bodywork on them. So let me go back. We also got the engine with it. So there's that crazy radiator mount. We got a box with a bunch of parts and pieces, radiator, another set of these hubs with look like new unused rotors and stuff. Nice stuff. It all looked like you've seen these things on other Zip karts. You've seen them on Swift chassis karts, 250s. And I believe the same setup is on the Gibson karts as well. So those will be sought after parts. We may even want to just swap these out and use them. But from what I can see, it's good and solid. Doesn't look like any of the corners are bent up. All seems to be there. So let's see. Let's go over to the. This is the old motor. It's a 124. The model. It's a 125cc, but the model is a 124. So this is pre 126, 128, 129 digital, obviously Rotax. Same basic setup, except this is a mirror image of what Don Boots, my buddy Harry, and all them guys used to have on the Dominator kart, right? Which was a 127, 128, 129 when Harry went digital. Same setup, rotary valve motor, but the carb was on the other side of the engine. And then the engine ran on the left, which this one does as well. So this carburetor is going to be outboard on the go-kart, where my buddy Harry's carburetor was right up close to his body. It's very strange. I showed this to Dennis Bernier at the racetrack, and he couldn't believe it. He's like, man, there's something. What is that? What, this thing doesn't look right to me. But it's all there. It's not stuck. It turns over. There was when I tipped it up, antifreeze came out of the water pump pipe right here. So straight antifreeze came out of it. So you know, the whole thing is going to need to be torn down and gone through. You can't bolt something like this that's been sitting for God knows how long before Ben got it. Ben never did anything with it. So there's no telling how long these things have been sitting. This says 1985 here, so it's got to be older than that. I don't know, but there's the spare spindles, hubs, and brake rotors. They're not vented like through the outside diameter like the old ones, the ones that are on the kart, but they're in really good shape. You got Kelgate hubs on them, and the hubs are adjustable, which on the setup on the kart right now is not adjustable. I'm almost positive this is a Kelgate bit, and a few different manufacturers use those. Like I said, I remember seeing this setup on the Gibson. That's the original steering wheel. And then here we are back into the pictures of the car. So I took all this stuff. I didn't really show you all the bits and pieces. The radiator came with it. Lots of little stuff. A lot of stuff probably can't use, but whole tote full of parts, plus the engine and stuff. So it's a good base to work from, but it's not going to be a cheap project. You know, I mean, it isn't like the enduro karts that we flipped. We just cleaned those up and sent them down the road. We didn't even rebuild and clean the brake systems or nothing. We told these people that took possession of the karts that they were going to have to go through them themselves. We basically just cleaned up the chassis and stuff so they could see what was going on. You know, there was no cracks and what have you. If there was any repair done to it, we didn't try to hide any of that. This is a different story. Even if we don't go OEM, right, and do a restoration of this thing, even if we just go through it and to get it running, I mean, it's you know, you're gonna have to replace some brake lines. Probably you're gonna have to at least take everything, all the calipers apart, if not getting the seals and rebuilds and all that stuff. more than likely should. I mean, you don't want to screw around with brakes and stuff. And then going through the motor probably isn't going to be cheap either. So to get it to a point where you could reliably take it out to the racetrack and run it around, even knowing it's not going to be, you know, competitive or ballistic fast. I mean, it would be a nice vintage English shifter kart, you know, something to play with, and who knows, maybe somebody get their feet wet, who knows. Not sure what we're going to do with it. That's why we took it right to the storage unit, because we've got the secret project is here now. All the bits and pieces and the kart itself is here. It's out in the garage undercover. You're not going to see it. You're not going to get a look at it. We're going to finish up the Yamaha in the next week and a half. Get the old nose that came on it back on it now that we've got the correct wheels we bought at Mid-Ohio with the correct back spacing. We'll be able to put that nose on, cut the top of it off so our feet clear. No side panels, I guess. We'll just take it up to Grattan and shake it down. And then after Grattan, we're going to hit it. We're going to hit the special secret project deal pretty hard. It's going to be an everyday gig from here on out. We've got some big plans, some big ideas, other than just, you know, getting the body work on it. There's some, that's why it's a secret, because we got some go fast stuff. We hope it's going to be go fast stuff. Equate to going fast. And so that's it. Zip kart is here. Motor parts and pieces, everything went to the storage unit. It's packed away. We're going to finish up tomorrow. I'm going to start working on finishing the seat on the Yamaha and get that all ready to go. Ed McGlone down in Atlanta is bending us up some tubing. I sent him some dimensions, and that stuff should be heading this way, because I called him before I went to Mid-Ohio, and he said he could bend the tube that day and surely get it out to me and have it this week. So we're sneaking up on it. Once we get the seat all in place and all the guards in and on, then we can get, you know, those wheels, the new set of tires on the wheels that we need. Get those mounted up and in place, and then, you know, all the bolts and brackets and bolting points and stuff for the old nose are still in place. I never took that stuff off, the brackets and what have you. So that nose will go right back on. We'll cut the top of it out, and then it's a matter of balancing some front wheels and hubs with the rotors, throw a gauge on it, run some leads. Tanks are already on. You saw we've already had it running. So at that point, not a heck of a lot left to do, just to get it to the track and play with it. If all goes well, the motor runs and we don't have any issues with the engine. And knock wood, no troubles with the work that we did with the chassis and all that kind of stuff. You know, maybe we enter a race on the weekend and do pit stops and let, you know, me and Richard and 2 or 3 other people just each take 5 laps at a time and make pit stops and tag team that thing. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll bring it to you if you stay with us. Peace out. That's it. That's all I got for you. The old zip cart just resting in storage, and yeah. Gas was down to 491, down to 491, and then 488 on the way home from Mid-Ohio. So that's what they're doing to us. They're trying to get us conditioned into thinking $4 a gallon gas is a deal, right? So hang in there, y'all. I'm praying for you. It'll get better, guaranteed. Talk to y'all.